Welcome to the He's Got Issues Independent Comics Edition number 129.3. I'm John Cooney here to preview new independent comics being released July 9th, 2014, beginning alphabetically with Boom Studios and Adventure Time Banana Guard Academy number 1 of 6. Turns out there's a lot to being a banana guard, but being a banana is not mandatory. This crazy adventure follows Root Beer Guy as he starts his search for new recruits among Ooze citizens. Only the best will do in his quest to protect the Candy Kingdom. Next, we've got Empty Man number 2 of 6. Agents Langford and Jensen have uncovered a hidden witness cult in the middle of American suburbia they suspect is behind the kidnappings plaguing the country. But will they catch up to Markov and Patient Zero before the Empty Man virus strikes again? We've also got Lumberjanes number 4. After a lot of convincing, the girls are able to agree to get Jen to take them on a hike. Making their way up to the tower and hoping to finally get some answers, they make their way closer only to be stopped by a neighboring boy camp. April, Mal, Molly, Joe, and Ripley have to figure out how to get to the tower, even if they have to use Jen as a distraction to do it. And we've got Thomas Alsop number 2 of 8. Thomas Alsop is the Hand of the Island, the latest in a family of warlocks that protect Manhattan. But now that the family is angry with Thomas, between his drinking and his reality show, they wonder if Thomas is chasing the right type of spirits. With a long-dormant curse coming back, he better change his ways. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Abe Sapien number 14. Abe tries to find out what's haunting the young woman he's traveling with while his own past catches up to him. Abe goes underwater for answers, but a crazed witch claims to hold the answers they both need. Next, we have Eerie Comics number 5. Undergo a macabre metamorphosis this month with Eerie. Witness bizarre transformation set in motion by an ancient spore and ruinous radioactivity. Brought to you by the otherworldly talents of John Arcudi, Brandon Montclair, Aaron Conley, and Henry Flint, not to mention a classic eerie tale. Don't miss the transfigurative fright. We've also got Star Wars number 19. Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie are together again aboard the Millennium Falcon. Disguised as smugglers, they have a crazy caper to pull off if they can avoid the Dredd bounty hunter IG-88. Next, we have Terminator, Enemy of My Enemy, number 4 of 6. When a mercenary army with sinister motives joins the hunt for Dr. Elise Fong, ex-CIA operative Farrell Green is no longer sure if she's Fong's kidnapper or rescuer. Meanwhile, a tireless, merciless Terminator remains intent on murdering Fong before anyone else can learn her secrets. We've also got Terminator Salvation, the Final Battle, number 7 of 12. As the deranged Thomas Parnell employs the Terminator army to wreak havoc on both the human resistance and Skynet, the computer network calculates a single option for survival, and its plans require John Connor. And we've got X number 15, with Arcadia in the grip of a war between the old gangs and the newly arrived militia known as the Chosen. Mob boss Carmine Tango arranges a meeting with a visiting billionaire. When X crashes the party, he'll discover an enemy categorically unlike any he's ever faced. From Dynamite Entertainment, we've got Blood Queen number 2. Dynamite's new dark fantasy epic continues. Elizabeth's new life at court grows more complicated as the king's niece and the elder arrive. How does this affect her mission, and what secrets do another investigation in the kingdom hold? And as passions ignite between Elizabeth and Sir Fenric, prepare yourself for a shocking final panel. It's all from writer Tony Brownfield and artist Fitz Cassis, and we're just getting started. Next, we have Chastity number 1. In the 1980s, and after a career-ending injury shatters her, and really her mother's, Olympic dreams, 17-year-old Chastity Marks finds an escape in a popular series of vampire novels. But little does she know that the novels conceal a secret underworld of blood, agony, and death, a world that she will be dragged into kicking and screaming. The classic Chaos character returns, reimagined, rebooted, and ready for blood. Join fan favorite scribe Mark and Draco and artist Dave Acosta for a blood-curdling adventure of a girl who is most definitely not your father's vampire. We've also got Doc Savage number 7. When his adventures began in 1933, Doc Savage was aided by 5 loyal associates. By 2014, his operation is truly global in reach thanks to a smartphone of Doctor's own design that allows anyone anywhere to ask for help or help others in return, and millions of people take part every day. But when everyone using the device is suddenly and without warning becomes immediately violent and aggressive, Doc might only have himself to blame. Next, we have Magnus Robot Fighter number 0, an all-new Gold Key adventure spinning directly from the events of Magnus Robot Fighter number 4. Magnus is a robot fighter, but not the robot fighter. How has the merciless Leia human hunter kept the robot fighters from causing chaos on Earth? and how does it tie into the Singularity? It's overstuffed action and intrigue from Fred Van Lent and Roberto Castro. We've also got Magnus Robot Fighter number 5, all new story, The Uncanny Valley. Descending into the substructure, Magnus encounters the Goths, a bizarre collection of feral humans living outside of robot society. Can Magnus hold his own against these freedom fighters? Hint, Magnus isn't the best at fighting non-robot stuff. Jump on board the coolest new series of 2014, courtesy of Fred Van Lent and Corey Smith. Next, we have Pathfinder City of Secrets number 3 of 6. Magnemar's many threats emerge from the shadows as Kira faces a deadly assassin, and Maricel must decide between her past and present lives. It's divide and conquer as the Pathfinder heroes are pulled apart. Come see why Pathfinder is the industry's best-selling fantasy tabletop game. Each issue features an exclusive, removable, playable tactical map and poster. We've also got Robotech Voltron number 4 of 5. Bi-monthly, part 4 of 5. The mighty Super Dimension Fortress 1 has become the target of not just Chiron, but also King Lotor. Captain Glovell now finds the SDF-1 and its crew trapped in the conflict between the conqueror world of Eris and the dark power of the Dual Empire. Back on Earth, Commander Keith Cogain and the partially reassembled Voltron force must venture away from the relative safety of Macross Island to search for their lost teammate, Allura. A clue left by her late father, Alfor, may be the missing key to find their way back home. Next, we have Turok Dinosaur Hunter number 6. Greg Pak and Takashi Miyazawa reunite for a vision of Turok you never saw coming. Who are the strange female warriors from the West? Who are their masters, and how have they tamed flying dinosaurs? And we've got Warlord of Mars number 0. If everything he loves is taken away from him, who is John Carter? Will the Warlord of Mars lose hope if he loses his friends? If he loses Deja Thoris? If he loses Mars? Or would he fight all odds and even reality itself to get it all back? From IDW Publishing, we've got Angry Birds Comics number 2. The Angry Birds are flying high in this fun-filled second issue. The Angry Birds take a trip to Piggyland, but quickly learn it's definitely not the happiest place on Earth. Featuring the writing of 2 Eisner-nominated creators, these stories are guaranteed to please. Next, we have Black Dynamite number 3 of 4. Black don't never back down. Black Dynamite is a man on a mission once again, and this time he's going to Tibet to even the score. When the local Shaolin monks and volunteer aid workers come under attack, Black Dynamite goes on the offensive and discovers a red Chinese ex-Nazi conspiracy to breed and train the ultimate kung fu man-beasts. We've also got G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero number 204. Torpedo leads a dangerous G.I. Joe rescue mission in Olistown, and the odds are stacked against the team. Will they make the evac in time before they get overwhelmed? A tense game of cat and mouse continues in G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero number 204. Next, we have Judge Dredd number 20, The American Way of Death, Part 4. Dredd has looked death in the eye before, but never like this. He realizes the only way to beat the Dark Judges is to send them back to Deadworld in a crazy sacrifice play involving D-jump machines as well as a whole lot of blood, sweat, and ammo. His only allies, a turncoat Dark Judge, a furry ex-con with a pickaxe, and, what's this? A long-lost love from Dredd's past back to settle up an old debt? We've also got Maxx Maxximized number 9. Our good Doc finds himself surrounded by a room full of black as Max seeks resolution battling various outback creatures. Meanwhile, Julie seeks solace in a special place we all go to contemplate weighty issues, the bathroom. Neither seems any closer to finding the answers they seek, but Sarah finally unwraps that mysterious box of clay that's been talking to her. Next, we have Star Slammers Remastered number 4. A bold new adventure starts here. The Minoan Agents, Chapter 1, The Prisoner. Once upon a time, the Great Minoan Co-Prosperity Cluster captured a live Star Slammer. Amid great excitement, he was transported aboard the starship Meredith, bound for the heart of the Empire in a show trial and execution, and it all turned out rather badly. We've also got Star Trek number 35. The Q Gambit begins here. The crew of the all-new Star Trek film franchise encounters the classic Trek villain Q for the first time. Only in this all-new 6-part galaxy-spanning adventure developed in association with screenwriter-producer Roberto Orci, the mischievous Q sends James T. Kirk on a quest that will see the Enterprise joining forces with familiar faces from Star Trek lore, beginning with the crew of a certain space station. And we've got Transformers More Than Meets the Eye number 31, Flying Blind. Trapped inside a giant replica of Rodimus's head, don't ask, Megatron and the crew of the Lost Light have to solve the biggest mystery of their lives, and they have to do so quickly because every time the lights go out, something terrible happens. From Image Comics, we've got 68 Rule of War number 4 of 4, miniseries conclusion. After a month imprisoned in a tiger pit, Agent Delkin Rule faces his last torture session with the Mad Doctor Than Warnu. On Pitt Island, New Jersey, the Coens begin to get curious in the shadow of a serial killer, and in Vietnam, a psychotic madman named Warface leads a rotting army of dead towards heaven. The only thing standing in his way is a man they call Jungle Jim. Next, we have Death Vigil number 1 of 8, 40 pages of story and art in this contemporary fantasy adventure series written and painted by Stepan Sajic. Gifted? Join the Death Vigil in their ongoing war against the ever-growing power of the primordial enemy. The only catch is you have to die first. Become a corporeal immortal Death Knight and obtain reality-altering weaponry in the never-ending battle between good and evil. We've also got Ghosted number 11. In death, Anderson continues to haunt Jackson Winters, but in life she was far more terrifying. Goran Sudzuka returns to document this fan-favorite secret history. Next, we have Great Pacific number 16, Big Game Hunters Part 2. Baston has decimated Little Chief's forces and sent them fleeing into the plastic wastes of the Great Pacific Gyre. When this big game hunter turns his sights on New Texas next, Chaz finds himself with few allies and fewer options. We've also got Red City number 2. The case gets complicated and Cal comes under heavy scrutiny from Red City PD and the mayor's office. He teams up with Angel, a woman from his past, and the fight spills out onto the streets in a high-octane hail of bullets. Next we have Rise of the Magi number 2. After a terrifying escape from the magic world into ours, Asa finds that not even two realities are big enough to hide in. Armed with a terrible secret meant to destroy both his world and this strange place called Earth, Asa Stonethrow must seek help from his realm's most feared criminals. His only hope is an enchanting frog and a street-smart, opportunistic petty thief, and a con artist named April May June. We've also got Shudder number 4. Kate Christopher has left the life she built to confront the life she left behind, and here there be monsters. Next we have Spawn number 245. Mark begins putting the pieces together about Jim's past himself and exposes more than Jim is comfortable with confronting. Meanwhile, Jim and Sarah deal with the after effects of her kidnapping. They didn't just leave the nightmare behind, it followed them home. We've also got Spread number 1. 10 years ago, we dug too deep. We unleashed something ancient that couldn't be controlled, something that couldn't be stopped, twisting everything it touched into more of itself, the Spread. Humanity was nearly destroyed before we found a way to slow the spread to a crawl. Now deep inside the quarantine zone, one man has found the key to stopping it forever, a baby girl. And if he can save her, he might save the world. And we've got Walking Dead number 129. Even now, they still find new ways to dispose of the dead. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Armor Hunters number 2 of 4, Surrender the Armor or Earth Will Die. Following the shocking final moments of the previous issue, the Armor Hunters have made their intentions clear, and unless Exo Manowar is turned over to them immediately, thousands of innocents will become additional casualties of this already brutal war. Valiant's most formidable heroes are about to go on the offensive, but the Armor Hunters have another trick up their sleeve, and this one will change the battle forever. Who will live? Who will die? The world will know what it feels like to be powerless as Valiant's big summer blockbuster continues. And we've got Rye number 3, Nothing is What It Seems, Not Even Yourself. A seemingly random murder, the first in 1,000 years, is unraveling the mysteries at the heart of Rye's very existence. As the country of Japan completes another orbit around 41st century Earth, Rye, its sole protector, turns his investigation towards two figures he never questioned before, Father, the AI that controls Japan, and himself. Okay, so that's a look at some of the top independent publishers this week, but there's still plenty of other books out as well, so be sure to check out my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com to see both the Marvel and DC videos for this week, as well as my usual roundup of all my favorites for the week with a little more depth and insight than you get here. And if you like these videos, be sure to let me know by leaving a comment and subscribing. You can also follow He's Got Issues on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Tumblr to see everything I'm reading as I read it. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.